Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to discuss another horror movie slash comedy classic for you, and that's the 1955 film Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Now, of course, at that point in the Universal horror cycle, they decided by the 1950s, people were getting kind of tired of the classic monster films because they kept recycling into the 1940s. And of course, at the time of World War II, people decided, they weren't so scared anymore of these, monster films. So what Universal decided to do was not only recycle all the classic monster movies, but to put in two of the most famous movie comedians at that time, which was Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, into the monster movies and recycle them, saying Abbott and Costello meet certain monster films, certain monster of the Universal monsters. They did one with Universal Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, which is considered the best one of the lot of the Abbott and Costello meet movies, because it has Bela Lugosi as Frankenstein. It had Glenn Strange playing Frankenstein's monster and Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. And I previously reviewed that movie, so check that video out if you haven't seen it. But they also made other monster movies with Abbott and Costello. Abbott and Costello had like three of the monsters in it, or four. They had the Invisible Man at the end of it, with Vincent Price as the voice of the Invisible Man. And the last scene in that film. But the other monster movies that they had with Abbott and Costello was Abbott and Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They had Abbott and Costello meet the killer, Boris Karloff, which is another movie that had Boris Karloff in. But this one I'm reviewing for this video is Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. This came out in 1955, and it was really the last one that they did with Abbott and Costello on one of the Universal monsters. And this one was not. But it wasn't that bad. It was a stereotypical Abbott and Costello movie. But the problem is, it really got crazy towards the end of the film, and I'm going to get into it in a minute. Because the plot of this movie is that you have Abbott and Costello, and they did use the actual names in this movie. Because there were several. I haven't been a fan of the Abbott and Costello movies, and even though sometimes they, use the actual first names, but they would change, the last names, or they would change the names altogether in these movies. But there have been some movies where they actually use the actual names. Because I think also during the 1950s, in the early 50s, you had the Abbott and Costello TV show. I think you also had in the 60s, you also had the Abbott and Costello. I do remember there was an Abbott and Costello cartoon, or animated series, was pretty good. But actually, most of the time in the movies, Abbott and Costello, they don't call each other Bud and Lou. And sometimes in this movie, Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy, especially at the end of it, when Abbott's yelling, "Hey, Costello, Costello!" At the end of the film, so I'm calling him, "Hey, Lou, where you at?" He's saying the word asking Costello at the end of the film. Well, the plot is that Abbott and Costello are in Egypt, and there was a mummy, and they used the same colors, the same name of the mummy that was used in the last four mummy movies in the original Universal horror cycle. And they had a medallion to bring the mummy back to life. Well, if it was somehow Abbott and Costello ended up getting this medallion, and of course all the people who were involved to get this medallion are chasing Abbott and Costello all over the place. And of course, one of them had to be a beautiful woman who Lou Costello falls in love with, and usually the woman in the Abbott and Costello movies in a whole, usually for some reason always goes to Costello all the time because he was, the idiot of the two, and always the one who was always taken advantage of by the beautiful woman in the film. And it happens in almost most, if not all, of the films of the Abbott and Costello canon. And of course, Abbott just wanted to sell it just for the money, so go back to the so the two of them go back to the United States, and Costello wanted to do that too. But the problem was that they found out that this medallion had a curse on it, and so of course one of the funny bits is when they change. They go to a restaurant and they have a burger, and each one trying to end up have the other one have the medallion, so you have the curse. Anybody who touches this medallion is cursed. Cursed for death. So they kept changing the burgers. It's like one of the more famous bits in the Abbott and Costello comedy bits that Abbott and Costello does, other than the possibly the Who's On First routine, which of course is the most famous routine they've done. But this one they continue the burgers back and forth, and of course eventually Costello eats the burger, and of course eventually they're trying to figure out ways to get the medallion out of Costello, and actually they don't want to wait for him to poop it out. So, and actually they can't say shit it out because it's 1955. They didn't curse back then in movies. So they're trying to shake him to get the medallion out of his body, and then eventually Costello spits it out, medallion out, and of course that's when you had the actual mummy running around and chasing Costello. That's what he's telling Bud. Hey, Bud. He goes, hey, Abbott. And he does yell, the famous line, hey, Abbott, to the movie. And actually, of course, no one believes that the mummy was chasing him. Well, of course, naturally, Abbott finally does see the mummy. And, of course, the woman, the beautiful woman who was chasing it to get the medallion, finds out, tries to fake not only Abbott Costello out, but also this professor who joins their quest to go to where the mummy's tomb was, and to figure out. So she has two goons with him, and she had one of the goons dressed up as a mummy. So then you have two people, the real mummy and the fake one, running around, and then Abbott gets lost, and he gets knocked down or buried in the sand or something, and so now he looks like a mummy. So now there's three of them running around. There's Abbott, there's the woman's goon, and you have the actual mummy running around. So you have three of them running around, or three people looking like them, two fakes and the real mummy running around. So everybody's getting screwed. All the minds got all screwed up, saying which one's the real mummy, and all three of them raise their hands. I mean, come on. I mean, that Bill was coming. You have all three of them say, okay, which one is, but, and all three of them raised their hands. All three of them were the goon, and they mentioned the goon's name, and all three of them raised their hands. I mean, duh. I mean, come on. I mean, it got so crazy. And then eventually, the professor was in on it. He ran like this little cult to follow the mummy. And of course, they're like really screwed. So, oh shit stuff was going on, and when the mummy eventually gets destroyed, the original mummy, and the professor says, "Okay, great. How the hell are we going to honor the mummy? That's our job. Is defend the crypt and the mummy and stuff." And so Bud Abbott says, "Hey, I got an idea," and they made a whole cafe, and all three of them went into business together and make this cafe, Cafe Carlos in Egypt, and they were making money off this thing. And of course, the last scene was with the last funny bit with Abbott and Costello. The last scene was that Abbott was playing on a pipe or a musical fife that raises what looks like a snake out of his face. We were playing the flute, and having to be a beautiful woman with fake snake gloves on, pretending it's a snake when there was actually a woman in there. So Costello said, "Oh, let me try that." So he goes over to another vase, plays his flute, and instead of a beautiful woman with fake snake gloves on, it was an actual snake, an actual cobra snake. With the music and stuff. And Abbott turns around, looks to see what it is, and Costello does, and screams, and he does a parody of the famous scene in The Wizard of Oz when the lion jumps out the window. That's what Costello does at the end of Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, and that's how the movie jumps out the window, goes through a glass, and that's how the movie ends. But this is like one of the more. I know I told everything in this movie, but this movie is definitely one of the. I would say with the Abbott and Costello Meet movies, with the Universal Monsters, the Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein is definitely the best one. But this one is like, I think this one was like the last one of the Abbott and Costello Meet movies, and this one is just as entertaining as any of the other movies in the whole series. But it does get crazy at the end, silly crazy at the end of the film. But it's like Abbott and Costello crazy. It's almost like Three Stooges crazy. But it's entertaining enough that anybody who's an Abbott and Costello fan like I am will watch it and enjoy it and have fun watching these two guys act. And like I said earlier at the top of this review, this was the next to last movie that Abbott and Costello did. Because Abbott died, I think passed away in 1959, or 1960 he passed away. So of course, after he did one more movie in 1957, that's when I know when the movie was in 1957, after more than 20 years together, they broke up because they couldn't stand each other. And after when Universal dropped Abbott and Costello after the Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, Universal Studios dropped them, and which pissed both of them off because both Abbott and Costello were having problems with the IRS, and the more movies they were making or the TV show they were making, the more episodes and stuff more movies or more episodes of the TV show, the more money they would make, and they pay off the IRS. Whatever debts they have in the IRS, they couldn't really pay them off if they don't have a contract with the studio anymore. So they did one more movie. I know which one the movie was, the last one, but anyway, in 1957 they broke up, and they really couldn't stand each other. They really were pissed off at each other, really, because actually, in the movies, Abbott was always the one who was pushing Costello around. Costello was telling all these crazy stories, especially with the Abbott and Costello Meet movies, and the monster films. He always said, "Oh, I've seen a monster," or "I've seen this." I've seen the guy going like this, and the woman walking like this. And of course, Abbott is telling the truth, because we know he's telling the truth, but Abbott doesn't believe him, and Abbott always slaps him and beats him up, and throughout the course of his movies, even though it is for comedy reasons, but he still beats him up all the time. And of course, Costello always gets the laughs. And Abbott always was the straight, what they call a straight man in the comedy duo. And kind of like Warren and Lewis. Warren was a straight guy, and Jerry Lewis always would get the laughs in all the films. That's what Abbott and Costello would do, the same thing. And so of course, and the two of them couldn't stand each other. And of course, unfortunately, 4 years later, I think it was 4 or 5 years later, after Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, that's when Lou Costello passed away. And then I think maybe a little more than a decade later, Abbott had died. I think he died in like the late. I think he died in like the 70s, in 72 or 73. That's when he died. So, and the funny thing is, Abbott's and Costello's daughters became lifelong friends after that. After they two of them broke up and two of them passed away. So it was kind of ironic. But I know I'm on a tangent, but it's it's really sad because Abbott and Costello were one of the better comedy duos of all time. And it's really sad what happened to these two guys. Not only on screen but off screen, and breakup. Well, all breakups are hard, but this one was really sad story of both these two guys. So that's my review of Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com, it's all WDY, and that's C.com. Homepage of my reviewer, Chris Lee Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. You can check out all of his videos on his YouTube channel, and please check out not on YouTube, but check out all of his videos on his website as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.